Hey guys, how's it going? It's Al. It is Halloween week 8 on Draftkings. I'm going to talk to you about some of my top stacks this week for the weekend that you can play in your tournaments. Double stacking is not something you want to do in cash games, but I am a double stacker with a bring back, and we're going to talk about it on how to do it in tournaments and with the Rotogrinders lineup builder, the lineup HQ over at Rotogrinders. Definitely go give them a shot. Down in the pinned comment down below, there is a link to subscribe over there at Rotogrinders, smizzle.tv/Rotogrinders, or just use promo code SMIZLIFE at checkout. Will get you everything that you need in terms of their projections and their lineup builder and all their great content that's behind the paywall there at RG. So without further ado, we're going to get to it. So drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the notifications bell, leave me a comment down below as if you weren't already going to do that because of the mustache that I have and this amazing costume that I've put together. Hope that you guys have a great weekend. Best of luck in tournaments and have yourselves a fun and safe Halloween. Let's talk about the top stacks this week. Let's hit it.
He's a legend.
The Smiz Gang Listener League, we're almost at 1,000 entrants this week. $10 to enter, 3 max only, and $30,000 in the player pool. All the money that comes in goes right out, absolutely no rake. Let's fill it again this week so they can keep it at this size moving forward. I think that we're right in the wheelhouse. You guys have been amazing. Very easy to find that link. It's just smizzle.tv/league. All you have to do is type that in your URL to get there, or go to smizzle.tv/links, and there's links to that and all my other socials as well. And if any of this content has helped you over the years, or this year specifically, head over to our charity, smizzle.tv/charity. We are trying to raise $25,000 for No Kid Hungry this season. And every $5,000 I will match. And because of my recent success in daily fantasy this last week, where I've had a massive week, I'm doubling my matches moving forward. So we're almost at $15,000 raised. As we hit $15,000, $20,000, and $25,000, I am going to double match. That means when we hit 15,000, I'm going to put in another 10. When we hit 20, I'm going to put in another 10,000. When we hit 25, I will put in another 10,000. So that's 25,000 we're hoping to raise from the community, and I will donate 40,000 of my own dollars if we get to that $25,000 benchmark. So again, if the content has helped you, if you think that you're a better player, or if I've helped you win, let's do a little bit of something for the kids. Every single dollar helps. My first stack was the cover boy, Josh Allen. He's pricey, but I think that we can get there. You know where the ball's going, and we know what Josh Allen's done against Miami. Just he's absolutely shredded them over the years, and multiple touchdowns in every game this season except week 1. 30+ points in 3 of his last 4. Josh Allen can do it all for you and can be the guy that you must have in tournaments. And because of the injuries that are on Miami, there's very viable bring back players on that team. I'm going to take a look at the flex. We're not going to use any of the running backs in that stack. We have Dawson Knox out, which is presenting a very cheap option for us, and a Halloween sort of play. I know it's Sweeney Todd, but it's Sweeney Tom in terms of this weekend at 2,900. Should be running all the routes and was a good pass catcher in college. We also have Steph Diggs, Manny Sanders, Beasley, who get the majority of the volume as we kind of look over at NFL Savant. Take a look at the targets this year. Steph Diggs is an animal and has not posted good enough numbers for the amount of volume that he's gotten. One of the most underrated wide receivers in the league this year in terms of how many PPR points he has scored versus the volume that he's gotten. He should have much better numbers, and he hasn't gotten there yet. So a regression candidate in a good way. Beasley looks solid this week, 20% almost of the market share, 18% for Manny Sanders. Dawson Knox was soaking up 12%. All of that, in my opinion, is going to go towards Sweeney Tom. Yes, I know it's Tommy Sweeney. Allow me the Halloween joke. So these are all guys that I think that we should kind of look to this week. And look, we're going to go over to the Rotogrinders lineup builder. Let's click on Buffalo and build our group there. I'm going to X out. I'm going to make sure that I have 2 of every one of those. X out Moss, Gilliam, him. I'm going to keep Sweeney, Manny Sanders. Probably not going to have Kumaro in this group, or McKenzie. I'll leave Gabriel Davis in there, but I might limit him because I just don't like it's a lightning in a bottle thing. I'm more willing to go with Tommy Sweeney in this spot. The random tight end touchdown from Josh Allen rides again, right? Like that's just been a thing that we've done for years. He always throws to the tight end when he gets in close. Our next stack, Jalen Hurts. I don't care how he gets there. He just always seems to get there. Sharon, thank you very much for the $20 donated. That goes right to the charity. Appreciate that. And all donations are tax deductible. So thank you guys very much for being a part of this, what I think is very ambitious fundraising goal for our community. But I think that we can get there, and hopefully you guys can make me donate $10,000 every 5,000 that we hit from now on. He's been outstanding. From a fantasy perspective, Jalen Hurts has been absolutely outstanding. Now we look at his pass catchers, and they've missed. It's his running ability that's really buoying him in these spots. Rieger not getting a lot of targets on a week-in, week-out basis, but I do believe he definitely has talent. Quez Watkins has gotten more targets more consistently and is only 4K on a week where we're starved for wide receiver value. I believe that you can utilize, especially if Miles Sanders is out this week, I believe that you definitely can use Kenny Gainwell as a part of your stacks, but monitor that injury report as the week goes on. I'm less likely to want to use Gainwell in those stacks. I'll probably still allow it, but I'll probably weight it down a little bit if Sanders is going to play, because Gainwell's not going to play as many snaps if Sanders is healthy versus if Sanders is hurt. Taking a look at the target market share for them, Devonta Smith, Kenny Gainwell, Jalen Reagor, Dallas Goedert, the other pass catcher, is like 4,600. Quez Watkins right there. And then Miles Sanders, who has not had a good year, but is playing when healthy, 75+% of the snaps. D-Shep, thank you for another $20 donated to No Kid Hungry. Let's head over to rotogrinders.com. Let's check out the Philly stacks. And like, it's kind of simple, right? Like, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to come over here. They make it as easy as possible. I'll assume for the sake of this stack right now that Sanders is going to be out on the weekend, and we're going to include Gainwell in there as he gives us a little bit of access to value that we would not have. And I understand that that might make people uncomfortable to use, you know, a quarterback and a running back in a stack together. But you know what? It's like riding a horse. Daily fantasy is kind of like riding a horse. And you know what? If it's comfortable, you're probably doing it wrong. Let's take a look at our next stack. Matt Ryan and the Atlanta Falcons. This one is a very easy and palatable stack. Matt Ryan throwing the ball 40 times a game on average, basically on the season. And if you look at 4 of the last 5 weeks, he's above that. Now, efficiency, not volume, is what leads to quarterback scoring. He has been quite efficient. And when you get efficiency plus volume, you get this. 300-yard bonus, 300-yard bonus, 300-yard bonus, multiple touchdowns in each of the last 5. He's not going to add anything with you with his legs, but one of the reasons that I really like Matt Ryan is the condensed target tree that he has. There's really only like 3 or 4 guys that are going to get targets in this office. Thornton Mellon, thank you for another $20 donated. I'm going to leave the alerts on, but I'm going to turn the sounds off, but I appreciate all the support. See, the Twitch chat is trying to encourage the YouTube viewers to donate money to the charity so that we can reach this goal together as a very close-knit community on 2 different sites. So these are basically the 4 guys that get the targets. And if we kind of look over at NFL Savant, it says the same thing. Ridley at 22%, Kyle Pitts at 19%, and climbing as his last 3 weeks, he's seen a monstrous share of targets. 35 targets total on the season, 14% going to Cordero Patterson, and a snap count that is rising, basically. Very easy to see that happening in the percentage of snaps and percentage of running back touches that have gone his way. And then last week we saw Russ Gage get a lot of targets, but like it hasn't been a thing it's been there. So basically most of your shares should go to these 3 guys right in here. We'll head back over here to Rotogrinders lineup HQ, and we'll X out some of these guys for Matt Ryan and his stacks. I'm going to leave Cordell Patterson. Same idea, right? Same sort of idea. I am going to leave the running back in that stack. I'm going to keep Pitts in there. Going to X out Smith, Zacchaeus, Tajay Sharp. I'll leave Gage for now, even though I'm probably going to minimize him. Or what I'll do is any lineup that has, I'll build a rule up here at the build rules section or player group section that says when lineups have Matt Ryan, boost Ridley and boost Pitts so that I get one or both of them in the majority of my stacks with him, and then I'll differentiate with some of them with CPAT and Gage moving from there. My next stack, Justin Herbert. Forgot about him, didn't you? He was on a bye week. He's still really good at football. Faces off against New England, one of the higher totals on the slate. And like, it's okay to be a goldfish and forget about Justin Herbert in this spot. You know, goldfish are the happiest animals in the world. They only have a 10-second memory. I get it. Players on bye week, you forget about their whole offense. But this is one because this week, wide receiver pricing is extremely tough. And so we have somebody like Keenan Allen, who is just probably not going to be the guy every single week that gets 10 to 14 targets. But like, we've seen him spike above 10 3 times so far this year, but it's not as consistent as it used to be. Now, if he gets those sort of targets at 6,500, more than fine. And then we have Jared Cook that we can pair with him as well at 3,400. Tight end going to be where most people look as a release valve in terms of getting value on their into their rosters. And obviously Austin Eckler getting a monster share of the targets there. Let's head over to the targets, take a look. Keenan Allen leading the team in target market share, 24.9%, 23.7% for Mike Williams. Eckler had 0 targets in one game, 13.04. YouTube viewers, please donate. Thank you for the $20 donation. And Corey Thompson, thank you for the $10 donation. Jared Cook, 13%. That's probably where we're going to focus the majority of our stacks when we stack this Chargers team. I do love the stacks this week, by the way. I think it's going to be a great GPP week because people are going to be very hesitant to utilize double stacks because the volume and the value does not appear to be there at wide receiver. So I think that people are going to look for excuses to single stack, which is going to lead to less combinations, less numbers of people on those double stack bring back lineups, which if I'm going to do that, if I'm going to take this high variance approach to playing tournaments to try and finish that Ricky Bobby approach, finishing first or last, that's what you want to do. And it's going to leave me in a position where, you know what? If I'm going to have less traffic on these tournament stacks that can finish way at the top, if things happen, less people on a guy like Mike Williams this week because of his price. And if I pair him with Herbert and Keenan Allen, or Herbert and Cook, or Herbert and Eckler, we've seen them both, all three of them have 30-point days on the same day. It's a great way to get different and a very correlated and obvious way to get different. My last stack, and this one was tough. I did not include Teddy Two Glove stacks in this because they didn't grade as well for me. I did not include Trevor Lawrence stacks in this. I believe both are very viable this week because of the defense that they're playing against, but Tom Brady stacks have basically been the money all season long, with as good and efficient as he's been. 4 touchdowns in week 7, 5 touchdowns in week 5, 4 touchdowns in week 1, 5 touchdowns in week 2, and you know where the ball is going when he is throwing it. Mike Evans with 62, 20% of the target market share. Chris Godwin with 20% of the market share, 61 targets. Antonio Brown gonna miss this week, which means that now Tyler Johnson is thrust into a starting role. We also should have, we should have Rom Gronkowski back, and we have Leonard Fournette, who has been getting 4 to 6 targets every single game, eating up some of those as well. Now, here's the trick. If Gronk is out this week, don't play Gronk. Don't pop into the replies down below and say, hey, Gronk's out. You're not Adam Schefter. We record this video and then it goes up on YouTube for on-demand viewing. And so if after I record it, somebody's out, it's okay. You don't have to let us know in the replies. We get it. We know that they're out. And here, the secret is, if they're out, don't play Gronk. If Gronk does not play, don't play Gronk. That is my pro tip for you guys in that situation if it does occur. Ronald Jones, Keyshawn, Bernard out. I may leave Leonard Fournette in just for differentiation purposes, and I'm going to explain why in just a second. Cam Brate out, assuming that Gronk plays. Same with O.J. Howard. Mike Evans in. Jalen Darden, Tyler Johnson will stay in, and Grayson's going to come out. And here's why, or how we might approach this week, because there's 2 things that are in play. Over the last few seasons, Marshawn Lattimore has basically had Mike Evans' number, allowing 11.47 PPR fantasy points per game to Mike Evans in their 6 matchups. A great cornerback who has played great this season. And Mike Evans against the other 46 cornerbacks that he's faced has averaged about 18 fantasy points a game. Now, I know that Mike Evans is also more than Chris Godwin. If we go back over here, you can see what the projection is on what Chris Godwin's number is going to be in tournaments. They're projecting me at like 25%. But so let's go look. Well, if they're not going to be able to throw the ball to Mike Evans, and they haven't, in games against New Orleans, Mike Evans has gotten 5.67 targets And in games against the other 46 games since 2018 has averaged 8.59 targets per game. So clearly that means that in those games, they just target Chris Godwin more. Well, Chris Godwin in those games is averaging 13.6 fantasy points per game, and as opposed to 16.09 in the other games, and they target him just as much, and he just scores a couple less touchdowns and has 20 something less yards or 17 less yards against New Orleans. So what I'm saying is it's not that obvious a spot, but sometimes you just got to make plays that you want to make. Here we are with that stack. I'm going to make sure that I got 2 of those. I'm going to have a bring back stack, which means that I'm going to have a bring back player from New Orleans coming back on the other side of that one. But those are the stacks that I believe in this week, but I'd really much rather that they just believed in themselves. So good luck to you this weekend. Make your lineups and believe.
He's a legend.